Imagine a formidable pit bull soaring through the air with a basketball held between his jaws. Then picture him releasing the ball mid-leap with such accuracy that it lands in a 5-foot-above basket. Unbelievably? Maybe, but this is just another day for Thor, a pit bull with exceptional talent and agility. Pit bulls are a breed that is much too frequently misunderstood, yet Thor's incredible feats contradict these misconceptions. Thor pushes the boundaries of what people believe a dog can accomplish, and defies expectations with the help of his committed trainer Ella. Pit bulls are not only incredibly athletic, but they can also change people's perceptions and shatter barriers. Thor is proof of this, with his gravity-defying jumps and sophisticated feats that need both strength and brains. In this video we shall be exposing how pit bulls often do tricks amazingly that you never believed. Let's delve in. Though their reputation can be unfair, pit bulls are prized for their intelligence, loyalty, and amazing athleticism. Thor possessed all of these traits, but he also had a unique bond with his owner, Ella. Ella was a lifelong dog trainer who had devoted her career to showcasing the true potential of pit bulls. Having worked with Thor since he was a puppy, the two of them had formed a bond that went beyond the normal human-dog bond. They were partners, a team, and their partnership was about to culminate in an incredible trick that would test the boundaries of what people believed was possible for any dog. Dozens of people were wandering about in the park that day, not realizing that they were going to see something very amazing. Ella had prepared a little space using cones and markers, which looked like commonplace tools for training dogs. There was an electric charge in the air as she and Thor stood there, both of them cool and collected. A few interested bystanders had gathered, sensing that something noteworthy was about to take place. Standing at attention, Thor's immaculate coat gleamed in the sunlight as he kept his gaze fixed on Ella's face. He was eager to showcase his abilities to the world, and was prepared for that time. Ella moved to a high platform she had previously erected. It stood 5 feet or so tall, and at the top was a tiny plank. She cautiously balanced a tiny basket on the board. The throng, which was now getting bigger, muttered incoherently. How on earth could a dog use that? Thor was called over to Ella, who gave him a gentle signal to put the basketball in his mouth. With ease, Thor took up the ball and clamped it between his teeth, holding it firmly but tenderly. Then he gave another order and trotted to the platform's base. Thor was staring up at the basket 5 feet above him on the plank, and the crowd was watching with great expectancy. And Thor leaped instinctively without thinking. These days pit bulls are renowned for their amazing leaping skills. They can leap far higher than most people think, and they frequently do so to scale fences or catch frisbees in midair. What Thor did next, however, was unbelievable. Thor flung himself skyward with a single, forceful leap, taking the basketball with him. Nevertheless, Thor used the momentum to his advantage to twist his body in midair and gain height and accuracy, rather than just leaping straight up. The assembly gave a loud gasp. He was flying, not just jumping. Thor leaped toward the platform with a single, fluid motion, and let go of the basketball as soon as he reached the top of the jump. The ball made a beautiful arc in the air before landing precisely in the basket. Applauding and cheering, the crowd went wild, stunned by what they had just seen. With a gentle thud, Thor returned to the earth, his tail bouncing as though accomplishing this amazing accomplishment was an ordinary part of his day. Still, Thor wasn't done. Ella gave Thor another order while grinning. He came back to her this time and she gave him a frisbee. The throng was intrigued. Was Thor going to use a new object to pull off the same trick again? No, this was something else entirely. Ella set up a vertical hoop on the ground a good 10 feet away from the platform. With a frisbee in his mouth, Thor waited for the next cue with patience. Ella gave a brief whistle, and Thor shot out in the direction of the hoop. As he dashed toward his objective, his paws appeared to barely touch the ground. Thor threw himself into the air once more as he arrived at the hoop, this time in a tight corkscrew twist. With amazing dexterity, he threw the frisbee through the hoop at the ideal time. The frisbee took off through the air and began to spin quickly as it approached the platform. The frisbee arced upward, directly toward the basket, as the spectators stared in startled stillness. The frisbee then softly dropped in the basket, balancing precariously on top of the basketball that was already there with a clink. As Thor fell softly on the grass with his tail wagging angrily, the park erupted in cheers and claps once more. Thor was obviously pleased with himself as Ella patted him on the head. Ella wasn't done though. She still had one more move in her repertoire. one that would really test the boundaries of what people believed the dog was capable of. Ella approached the platform, and with the assistance of a couple of volunteers, she lifted the plank to an incredible 8 feet in height. Now fully engrossed in the spectacle, the crowd watched with expectation. Thor was actually going to try to make a jump that high? I mean, this seemed impossible, even for a pit bull. Ella, though, believed in Thor. She knew he could pull it off because they had trained for this. This time Ella held up a little ring, just big enough for Thor to fit his snout through in place of a basketball or frisbee. She balanced it perilously on the edge of the plank, much to the astonishment of the spectators. How in the world could a dog reach that height and so accurately? Thor quickly obeyed Ella's command and grabbed up the basketball with his mouth. His muscles taut and prepared for action, he trotted to the foot of the stage. Ella took a deep breath and issued the last directive. With all the might and speed he could manage, Thor launched himself, racing toward the platform. With an almost superhuman effort, he sprang as soon as he reached the base, twisting and turning in midair as he ascended higher and higher. The audience gasped in shock and watched in horrified silence. Would he survive? When Thor got to the peak of his leap, amazing things transpired. Thor tipped his head slightly, still holding the basketball in his jaws, and aimed for the little ring perched on the board. Then he propelled the basketball through the ring with such accuracy that his muzzle just barely touched the edges. After Thor finished his jump, the basketball fell flawlessly into the basket below and settled back on the floor with grace. With the greatest cheers of the day, the crowd stood and applauded, with some even wiping away tears of surprise. Ella raced over to Thor, who was panting but clearly excited, and gave him the greatest embrace. Thor wagged his tail. There was no denying Ella and Thor's bond, and the trick they had just pulled off was nothing short of amazing. They had dispelled all preconceived notions about pit bulls in that instant, demonstrating to the world that these frequently misinterpreted and intimidating dogs were actually amazing animals with enormous potential. A new perspective. Thor and Ella left the field together as the throng dispersed, everyone still talking about what they had just seen. This was more than simply a performance for Ella, it was a message. Just like any other breed, pit bulls are deserving of love, respect, and the opportunity to prove their true abilities. By demonstrating that a pit bull's conduct, loyalty, and relationship with those who love them define them instead of their reputation, he has transformed people's perceptions and attitudes. Ultimately, Thor's concert was a moving ode to the intelligence, bravery, and kindness of pit bulls, rather than merely demonstrating an amazing skill. Pit bulls are not limited to their reputation. Thor dispelled stereotypes about his breed with hard work, determination, and an unshakable bond with his owner Ella. His amazing feats, which included precise stunts and skydiving leaps, mesmerized the audience and demonstrated the potential that all dogs possess when given the right care and attention. More than a spectacle, Thor's display was a reminder that, with proper care and understanding, even the most misunderstood breeds can achieve the seemingly impossible. Ultimately, Thor's concert was a moving ode to the intelligence, bravery, and kindness of pit bulls, rather than merely demonstrating an amazing skill. Pit bulls are not limited to their reputation. Thor dispelled stereotypes about his breed with hard work, determination, and an unshakable bond with his owner Ella. His amazing feats, which included precise stunts and skydiving leaps, mesmerized the audience and demonstrated the potential that all dogs possess when given the right care and attention. More than a spectacle, Thor's display was a reminder that, with proper care and understanding, even the most misunderstood breeds can achieve the seemingly impossible. If you enjoyed this video, would you please subscribe, like, and share it? Thank you for watching.